Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be making a bubu butterfly, but the upper part of the bubu is going to be the lace, like from the bust points is going to be this net lace. So let's dive into it. So first of all, I'm going to fold my fabric by okay, the total length of the fabric, that's the total length of my client is 59 inches, and I want this thing to be 9 inches. So I'm going to subtract the 9 inches from the 59 inches. So I'm going to cut out 50 inches here, but please, you have to put your hemming allowance. So I'm going to add 1.5 inches down because I want the hemming allowance at the down part to be thick. Then half inches for the upper part. So I'm going to add a total of 2 inches for hemming and sewing allowance. So I'm going to cut out 52 inches. Why I'm going to cut this at 10 inches, not 9 inches. I'm going to add an extra 1 inch to this for joining of the shoulder, and I want it to be on top of the fabric. To cut my fabric, like I said, I just folded it into two. One part is for the back while one part is for the front. So I folded it into, and I took a measurement of 52 inches. What I needed was 50 inches, but I'm adding 2 inch extra for hemming and for sewing allowance. So for the tip, I had to overlock it so that it will not fray. So this is the lace that I'll be using. So it's kind of stretchy. So what I did, this is what I found in the shop that matches very well. So I added stay just to hold the edges. So this is what I mean. So what I want to do is that I want this lace to be on top of the fabric this way. So I'm not going to sew it together, I'm just going to sew this on top of the fabric. So hence I added the stay for it not to, like, it's a stretchy net. So for this I had to take, remember we are working with 59 inches total length, but I took 9 inches for this. So the total of what I took was actually 10 inch. So this fabric is going to be on the ankara by 1 inch. So that is what I meant. So I also cut out two parts, one for the back and one for the front. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim this and get my edges. Then I'm going to place it on the fabric. So this is how I'll place it. So I'm going to open my fabric, notch the middle, then I will notch the center of this. Then I'm just going to place it on the fabric this way. Then I'm going to sew it. Then after doing this, we're going to come back to cut the shoulder slope, to cut the neck opening. So I will do this and I'll get back to you. So guys, I'm done attaching the lace to the fabric. You can see the way it is now. So what I'm going to do is to mark the neck opening. So I'm going to use 3.5 because I don't want this to have a zipper. Is an high neck. I'm going to use 4 inches, sorry, for the neck width. Then I'm going to use 3.5 for the neck depth. So I'm doing same thing for the back and front. So I'm using a chalk because this is a white fabric. So I'm using this chalk that you can easily dust away. So you might not be able to see it, but when I cut it, you see it. So at the tip of the gown, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to slope it to meet with these 4 inches I have here. Then I'll cut it out. So I'm being careful because it's a white fabric. So I'm just going to cut this out now, and you see how the shape look like. And one thing I want to tell is that because of the way this fabric is, before sewing, for it not to be difficult, you can use your hemming gum to hem it first. This is what an hemming gum look like. So you can use it to hem it first to the fabric so that it will stay solid. Then you can sew on it. It's easier that way. But if you think you can sew from from direct, that's also fine. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. Please pardon me, you might not see the chalk because I'm using a light color, and because it's a white fabric, I don't want it to have stain. So that is why I'm doing it. So you can see our shape now. So this is the neck, while this is the shoulder. So I'll take this my sewing machine, then I'm going to join the shoulder with half inch, both sides, back and front with half inch. So guys, after joining the shoulder, I also went ahead to use a bias tape to tape the neck. You can use facing, it's not bad. So the next thing we're going to do is to get the shape of our client. So is a bubu all right, but we don't want it to be big, we want it to be fitted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the actual measurement. So this excess, I'll cut it out. I'm going to take the actual measurement of the client, Then I'm going to add just 1 inch for ease because there's no zipper. So that is what I will do. That means I'll take the bust. No, I'm not starting from the bust part. I'm starting from the bust point. So the other part will be the sleeve open. So I'm going to take the bust point, the waist, the hip. Then I'm going to do it. So the down part is going to be like an A-line gown for. So at this point, I've marked my lines, but I'm just going to take you guys through. My table isn't wide enough, so I had to do it this way to mark it. So what I'll do, I got the bust point, which is 11 inches. Then from the bust point, I took the waist, which is 17 inches, and from the waist, I came down by 9 inches to get the hip line. So after that, I just placed my tape on the fabric, and I added, because I don't want it to be too big. So the normal measurements, I added 3 inches, some part I added 4 inches. So what I did was that I placed my tape at one end of the fabric to the other end, and I got a total of 45. The bust point that I'm working with is 36. Then I'm adding 4 inches for ease, so giving us a total of 40 inches. So when I took the measurement and I got 45, so that means front 40 inches divided by 2 is 20 inches. So the front will be 20 inches while the back will be 20 inches. So I divided the remaining 25 inches into two on both sides of the fabric. So I got a total of 12 inches. So I repeated the same thing at the waistline and the same thing on the hip line. So my waist was 32. I added 4 inches to give me what I want. Then the excess, I divided it on both sides. That is where I placed mine. So I repeated the same thing there and the same thing at the hip line. So coming to the end part of the dress, what I did was that my hip measurement, my hip was 44. I added 3 inches for ease because I don't want it to be very big. I added 3 inches for ease, giving me 47. So when I got to the down part, so that 47 I added an extra 2 inches to it. So it gave me 49. So I took my measurements and got my excess, then I splitted it into two on both sides. So for the hip line, from the hip measurement, I connected it. So we're having an A-line shape there. So it's going to have a slit like a 13, 15 slit. So I connected the points together. So I'll take this my sewing machine and I'm going to sew on it. Please, you are sewing on the right side. It's a butterfly gown. So you sew from the front, not from the inside. So when I finish sewing, I'm going to come to the edges. You can decide to just fold it once, but me, I don't want that name of that fabric to show, so I'm going to fold it twice so that everything will be hidden inside. So I'm going to sew this and I will place this on the mannequin for you to see how it looks like. So guys, this is what we have. So this is what the dress look like. You can see it's so beautiful, very simple but beautiful. So this upper part gave it another look. So that is it. We've come to the end of this tutorial. Thanks for staying to the end. You see what this scallop part did to it. You see the way it gave it like a nice design. So that was the intention. That is what I wanted to achieve and I got it. So do not forget to subscribe to this channel if this is your first time. I'll see you all in my next sewing tutorial. Bye.